Have you noticed that in your home, one after another, people fall sick? Often without clear medical explanation. Maybe the children or parents or grandparents. Every few months there is fever, stomach complaints, fatigue. Doctors run tests, but nothing conclusive shows. That is often one of the first flags. Sudden, unexplained illness or illness recurring repeatedly among family members, despite treatment, despite care. This sign may look like a child with a high fever that doesn't respond to antibiotics. Another member starts vomiting, yet all lab tests are negative. Every few weeks, somebody else gets sick. Symptoms shift. Today it's headache, tomorrow stomach pain. No common pathogen, no epidemic. It's draining emotionally, financially, spiritually. Real story. In Lahore, Pakistan, a family of 6 began noticing that over the course of a year, first their youngest child developed a persistent rash and intermittent fever. Then, their eldest daughter suffered recurring migraines. Then the father's chest pains, and then the mother's relentless fatigue. Every medical test, blood work, MRI, scans, showed nothing abnormal. Physicians considered allergy, stress, autoimmune, but nothing concrete. After seeking spiritual counsel, recitations of Quran, in particular al-Falaq and an-Nas, sincere dua, and performing Ruqyah, the pattern began to change. The rash faded, the father's chest pain subsided, the daughter's migraines eased. It took time, but many in the community believed the evil eye was involved, and that Allah's protection through spiritual means brought relief. Quranic, prophetic reference. In Islam, we are taught to seek Allah's protection from harm. Surah An-Nas, the last chapter of the Quran says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَالِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind, the Sovereign of mankind, the God of mankind, from the evil of the whisperer who withdraws, who whispers in the breasts of mankind, among jinn and among men. This includes protection from unseen harm. Though the Quran does not always explicitly link every ailment to the evil eye. The Hadith literature underscores that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ warned against the evil eye, encouraged recitation and Ruqyah, and taught that believers should seek refuge in Allah when malicious envy or harm from the unseen may affect them. Also, while Prophet Ayub, Job, faced trials, ailments and loss, though not necessarily evil eye, his steadfastness under unseen hardship teaches patience and reliance on Allah when suffering seems unexplained. If this has happened in your family, stop, take note. This is sign number 1. Tag someone who needs to hear this. Maybe the reason for the illness is unseen. Write in comments, what was your experience with illness that couldn't be explained medically? Before starting this video, don't forget to like this video, because it gives us a lot of strength to continue sharing beneficial content. And I invite you to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to stay informed of our next publication on the Islamic faith. Share it with your loved ones and leave a comment to tell me what you think. Thank you and good video. Financial problems without clear cause. Sometimes, the harm of the evil eye does not show up as sickness at all. It shows up as your blessings draining away. You work the same hours, your business plan is unchanged, yet the money seems to disappear. Bills pile up, customers vanish. Deals collapse at the last minute. Repairs eat your savings. You can't point to any mistake or external crisis, but your financial life seems to slip like water through your fingers. This is the second sign. financial problems without clear cause. In many cultures, Muslims included, this is taken as a potential sign of the evil eye, especially when the family or individual was openly blessed and others could see it. Jealousy can turn into a harmful glance. The Prophet ﷺ warned about showing off blessings unnecessarily and encouraged seeking refuge in Allah before sharing good news. Real story. In Amman, Jordan, a family-owned cafe thrived for nearly a decade. The owners were generous and posted their growth proudly on social media. Within a year of rapid expansion, their profits plummeted without obvious explanation. Suppliers delivered late, equipment broke repeatedly, and a wave of bad reviews appeared online from accounts they couldn't trace. Loans accumulated despite stable customer traffic. The owners, perplexed, began to limit public displays of success and increased their recitation of protective verses like al-Falaq and an-Nas. They also gave more in sadaqah, charity. Within months, breakdowns stopped and steady profits returned. Many in their circle believe envy and the evil eye had played a role, and that humility plus spiritual protection restored their barakah, blessing. Quranic reference. The Quran offers a vivid warning through the story of Qarun, Korah, in Surah Al-Qasas. Qarun had immense treasures, but he became arrogant, showing off his wealth and ignoring advice. His story ends in his destruction. His blessings became a curse. While the Quran does not say evil eye directly, it illustrates how blessings can be lost through arrogance, envy, and lack of gratitude. Surah Al-Falaq explicitly teaches believers to seek refuge from the evil of the envier when he envies, tying the loss of protection to harmful jealousy. Surah Al-Qalam 68 likewise warns against arrogance and mockery of divine guidance, linking disbelief and pride to downfall. In other words, your finances may not just be a spreadsheet problem, they may also be a spiritual one. Is your wallet getting emptier even though you're working hard? This may be sign number 2. Let's uncover it. Double tap if you believe blessings can be blocked by unseen forces. Comment. Have you ever seen finances suffer mysteriously? Family disunity. Conflicts surge. Another way the evil eye is believed to strike is not through illness or money, but through the heart of the household itself. A once calm, loving home suddenly feels tense. Small disagreements explode into major arguments. Siblings who were inseparable now barely speak. Parents and children feel irritable, suspicious, or cold toward one another. There may be no obvious trigger, no new stress at work, no external crisis. But the atmosphere changes overnight. This is the third sign. Family disunity and conflict without clear reason. In Islamic tradition, envy is not only an inner feeling. It can manifest as spiritual harm. When an envy strikes a household, barakah, blessing, and sakina, tranquility, can be stripped away, leaving only friction. Real story. In Kano, Nigeria, a household of 7 was known for its hospitality and close-knit ties. The children studied and played together. Relatives loved to gather at their home. Then, over the course of months, tension rose inexplicably. A minor disagreement about chores turned into days of silence. Brothers stopped sharing meals. Sisters snapped at one another over trivialities. Their father, puzzled, tried family meetings. Nothing helped. A local imam advised them to reduce posting family celebrations on social media, increase charity, and recite protective surahs, especially al-Falaq and an-Nas. The family also began morning adkar, remembrances. Gradually, arguments subsided, and the home regained its warmth. They believe envy from outsiders, and possibly the evil eye, had opened the door to discord. Quranic reference. The Quran itself shows how envy destroys family peace. In Surah Yusuf, the Prophet Joseph's brothers were consumed by jealousy over their father's love and Joseph's gifts. Their envy led them to plot against him, casting him into a well and causing years of separation and grief. While the Quran doesn't call it evil eye, the destructive power of envy on family unity is unmistakable. Allah records this story to warn believers about the dangers of unchecked jealousy and to show how patience, reliance on Allah and forgiveness can restore harmony. So if your once loving home now feels like a battlefield, it's not always just stress or mood. It may also be an unseen spiritual attack. Islam calls on us to protect our families through dua, Quranic recitation, humility, and gratitude. When your home stops being a place of peace, listen, this is sign number 3. Share this video if you want to protect your family's harmony. Have you witnessed sudden conflict for no reason? Please share below repeated misfortunes, accidents. Sometimes the sign is not sickness or fighting, but a string of accidents and mishaps that seems too relentless to be coincidence. One month, the car breaks down 3 times. The next month, the roof leaks. A week later, a pet dies. Then a pipe bursts. Then a business deal collapses. When these setbacks keep striking different areas of family life without any obvious pattern, many believers view it as a possible sign of the evil eye or loss of barakah, blessing. Islam teaches that hardship can be a test, but also that harm can come from envy or unseen forces. The Prophet ﷺ warned about the evil eye causing real damage. That's why Muslims are taught to recite morning and evening, Adhkar, Ayat al-Kursi, and the last 2 surahs for protection. Real story. In central Java, Indonesia, a family living in a modest but sturdy house began to suffer one mishap after another. A sudden kitchen fire, a ceiling collapse during the dry season, and a series of traffic accidents involving different family members, all within a few months. Neighbors in identical houses on the same street remained untouched. Insurance and inspections showed no structural faults. Traffic police found no reckless driving. Feeling overwhelmed, the family turned to both practical precautions and spiritual remedies. They increased their prayers for protection, recited Surah al-Falaq and An-Nas daily, and gave charity quietly. Over time, the cascade of misfortunes slowed and then stopped. They now speak about how envy from outsiders or the evil eye may have played a part. Quranic link. While the Quran's story of Prophet Moses, confronting Pharaoh is about liberation from tyranny, it also shows how Allah sends signs, sometimes to warn, sometimes to protect. For everyday believers, the Quran commands seeking refuge from harm and say, "My Lord, I seek refuge in you from the incitements of the devils. And I seek refuge in you, my Lord, lest they be present with me." Surah Al-Mu'minun 23:97-98. This includes unseen dangers. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, "The evil eye is real. If anything could overtake divine decree, it would be the evil eye." Muslim. These texts together encourage believers to be vigilant spiritually as well as materially. So if your family can't seem to go a month without disaster, Islam gives both practical and spiritual tools. Take precautions, but also fortify your home with dhikr, dua, and humility. If your family can't go a month without disaster, that could be sign number 4. like share to raise awareness. Maybe you'll save someone from repeating misfortune. Tell us, what's the worst misfortune that felt too many to be random? Babies, newborns crying excessively or falling sick often. Babies and young children are considered especially vulnerable to unseen harm. When an infant cries excessively, suffers colic, develops sudden fevers, loses appetite, or falls ill repeatedly with no clear medical cause, it may be one of the signs of the evil eye affecting the family. Parents often feel helpless, trying every doctor, remedy, and treatment, but nothing seems to work. Real story. In Yogyakarta, Indonesia, a mother noticed her 6-month-old daughter waking up screaming every night, refusing to eat, and having unexplained bouts of fever. Doctors ran extensive tests. Nothing was found. Frustrated and anxious, the mother turned to spiritual remedies recommended by her local imam. They performed Ruqyah, recited protective verses such as Surah al-Falaq and Surah an-Nas, and sought Allah's refuge for the baby through daily supplications. Over several weeks, the baby's health gradually improved. She began sleeping better, feeding normally, and showing the playful energy she had before. The family attributed the recovery to both Allah's protection and the spiritual precautions taken against envy or the evil eye. Quranic reference. Protection. The Quran emphasizes seeking Allah's protection for children. In the story of Mary, she prayed to Allah for the safety of her child. Surah al-Mu'minun recounts how Allah taught humans from creation and inspired believers to protect the innocent. When your Lord said to the angels, "I will create a human being." 23 and 12-14. The Prophet ﷺ also recommended placing protective recitations, supplications, and blessings over children to shield them from harm. Hadiths describe how believers can invoke protection to prevent evil from reaching newborns. Parents, take note. Spiritual vigilance, combined with care and prayer, can help safeguard your child from harm that may not be visible but is very real. Observing this sign early can prevent long-term distress and bring peace back to your family. If your infant is suffering even though you've tried everything, listen to sign number 5. Parents, share this. Your child might need spiritual light. Comment. Have you as a parent ever felt helpless when hospitals couldn't explain your baby's pain? Conclusion and remedies. Call to action. We've explored the 5 signs that the evil eye may be affecting your family. Sudden, unexplained illness. Recurring sickness with no clear medical cause. Financial problems without reason. Blessings seem to drain despite effort. Family disunity and conflicts. Sudden fights, jealousy, or bitterness among loved ones. Repeated misfortunes or accidents. Accidents, breakdowns, and mishaps striking persistently. Babies or young children falling sick. Excessive crying, colic, or illness without explanation. Recognizing these signs is the first step. Islam provides guidance and remedies to protect your family and restore harmony. Some steps include prayers, dua, and Quranic recitation, regularly reciting, Ruqyah, spiritual healing through Quranic recitation, prayers, and seeking Allah's protection. Charity, sadaqah, giving quietly to reduce envy and increase blessings. Protecting children, reciting protective prayers over newborns, and maintaining their spiritual environment. Avoiding envy and showing off blessings. Humility prevents unwanted attention and spiritual harm. Maintaining tawakkul, trust in Allah. Relying on Allah while taking practical precautions. Real story. A family in Cairo, Egypt, faced all 5 signs within a year. Their children fell ill repeatedly. Finances collapsed inexplicably. Conflicts erupted at home. Accidents kept occurring. And the youngest baby had persistent health issues. Following advice from a local scholar, the family increased Quranic recitations, performed Ruqyah, gave charity, and strengthened their prayers. Over several months, the illnesses eased, the household became peaceful, financial stability returned, and the baby recovered. This transformation highlights how spiritual vigilance, combined with reliance on Allah, can restore blessing and protection. Quranic guidance. The Prophet Muhammad consistently taught seeking protection from harm. He recommended daily recitation of Ayat al-Kursi, al-Falaq, and an-Nas to shield oneself from envy, harm, and the evil eye. These practices, along with sincere dua, are proven methods for seeking divine protection. Remember, awareness and action are key. If you notice even one of these signs, act immediately. Prayer, recitation, and protective measures can make a real difference. If you saw even one of these signs, take action now. Pray, recite, protect. Share this with your family or someone you love. Prevention is better than cure. Leave a comment. Which remedy you'll try first? Or what spiritual practice helped you?